Today, we're going to be doing some spot painting. I've been asked several times if I was going to paint the 2006 Crown Victoria. Short answer, no. But I am going to take care of some of the rust. I'm going to take care of all the rust that I can. And I'm also going to do a bit of spot painting just for fun. If we were really going to paint the entire car, it would take a lot of body work. I mean, I want to get the rust stopped, but the amount of body work it would take to finish up the rest of the car would be more than the car is actually worth at this point. Now, maybe later, if I feel like it, I will. But for now, we're going to get the car cleaned up. We're going to do a little bit of sanding and scotch brighting, and I'm going to show you guys how to do some cheap and easy spot painting. As you can see, the car's been sitting, and sitting cars collect a lot of dirt. I mean, it's just filthy everywhere, all over. So, no, you can, yeah. So it's got this layer of dirt. So we're gonna have to get that layer of dirt off before we start, and then we'll have to get some other stuff off. So let's get the dirt off and go from there. A lot of people make cleaning a car and prepping it for paint a whole lot more than it is. Clean the car. There's no special soaps in this. You know, you can use a lot of foams and whatnot. But pretty much it's gonna come down to elbow grease and cleanliness. You know, a lot of guys use Dawn dish soap. A lot of guys use all sorts of other stuff. Just use whatever you need to do to get the car clean, because a clean car is a happy car. And the cleaner the paint and the cleaner and prep the surface, the better the results are going to be. Pretty much all you need is a bucket of water, your favorite detergent, which we're going to spray down. I'm probably going to use some dish soap, and a rag, and then we'll get the hose out to wash. As you see, dirt's just coming right off. So let's get this cleaned. Little hint, when you're doing the rust on top, you're going to clean it the exact same way. So let's clean that. Well, we'll clean the spot we're going to do and then go from there. A little bit of soap, a little bit of cleaner, and a lot of this rust will just come right off, but don't let it dry. But yeah, just clean it up, and this is kind of what you want, is all the loose stuff gone. It's going to make your rust prevention a whole lot easier. Got the car all washed off, and there's paint chips everywhere. So a bunch of paint flaked off, so that's not a good. So we're going to use a little bit of 400 wet dry before we go to the 800. I'm just going to go around the edges and knock the rest of the loose stuff off, get it smooth, put a little primer on it. We'll let that dry, and then we'll go straight for the paint. Okay, so now that we got the truck cleaned up, or the car cleaned off, and it's dry-ish, it's dry, we're gonna use a little bit of this rust treatment on the roof. Ideally, you want to do it inside, but as long as the wind stays down, we can do it outside, and I can get some better camera, show you it. But when we start painting, we'll put the car inside. So let's get on top of the car, and we'll show you how this works. Okay, if you can see all this right here, this is paint off the trunk. Now come over here and let me show you. This right here is why we're not painting the car. This stuff's just peeling off. It's just coming off in sheets, and I can't really do anything with that without quite literally just stripping the whole car. So that right there is why we're not painting this car right now. We're gonna do some touch-ups here because this isn't rusted. We're just gonna cover up the spots that aren't rusting yet and then take care of the rust. So let's go take care of the rust. Alright, we've already put one coat of this Permatex on, and as you can see right here, it's already turned this spot black. And so you have to allow 2 to 3 minutes worth of drying time between coats. So we got one coat on here. We're gonna spray it all down again, let it dry for 2 or 3 minutes, and then spray it all down, and we have to let it sit for 24 hours. So once we get that done, then we'll attack the trunk. Yeah, you just, like I said, give it 3 light coats and should be good to go. Now that we've got the roof taken care of, we're gonna use this to just knock off the loose stuff. Now you don't have to go full Sherman's March on it. Just lightly just take off what's loose, because we're gonna have to taper the existing paint down so you have a smooth finish when you're done. It's not professional, but it won't look completely like crap either. So let's get going. On this, where a lot of the paint was coming up, there was dirt underneath. So a little bit of Scotch-Brite, and that'll bring up all that residue right up. So, see, come right off. That's why we're only doing spot painting today. To actually paint this car, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of work, and we're going to have to remove a lot of paint. So let's let this thing dry off, and then we'll get to spot painting. Gone ahead and put some newspaper up. It's about the only good use for this newspaper anymore, but couldn't find my painter's tape, so I found electrical tape, because the one time I need electrical tape I can find 5 rolls of it. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to do a just a regular gray primer just to cover up where we've gone through the galvanizing. So we'll do that, we'll let that dry, it'll take a few minutes, and then after that we'll be ready to put a little bit of paint on it. Alright, so we got the Krylon. I've got one with a fan tip, so it's all up, so let's just put it on at some real light coats and see what happens. And it's going to have to be light. Thought I'd be out of the wind, but it's covering, so. The important thing is to just take your time and really light coats. Alright, now as we paint, you want to make sure that your tip is clean. Light coats. This is Duplicolor here. Now ordinarily, if you're going to be doing an area this big, rattle cans is not for it. This is for an area maybe like that, just something real. In reality, we would have stripped this trunk lid completely down, primered it, sanded it, blocked it, the whole ordeal, and gotten some real paint and a real paint gun. And you'll see why here in a minute. Just keep it level, keep it straight, make sure you keep shaking the can, and just apply good, clean, even coats. Like I said, these fan tips are what you want to use, but in reality, if you're doing an area this big, you really want to, well, you really want to either have the proper equipment or hire somebody to do it who's going to do it right, because this is not the right way. Well, from 5 feet it looks pretty good, but it's really not the best way to paint a car, because the closer you get, the uglier it gets. If you get real close, you can look, when we kept trying to get close to it, the paint kept peeling, so that's going to have to be addressed.
But overall, it's not too bad. Now, this right here is where we didn't prep it. You can see it just came out looking like crap. But the in front of it is where we did prep it. That's why prepping is so important. Now, with the roof, we're going to go ahead and park it in the garage overnight and let that cure. And then I'll figure out what to do about that.
As I said before, first of all, I'm not a professional painter. I'm not even really good at it. It takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of time, takes a steady hand, and it takes an artist. That's the long and short of it. If I was going to have this car done professionally, yeah, I could strip it, I could get it in down to the metal and do the majority of the body work. But truthfully, in my particular case, I'm not the guy. I'm more of a mechanical kind of guy. But in reality, if you're going to do areas that big or you're going to do the car, you need proper equipment. Spray cans are good for certain little jobs and touch-ups and stuff like that. You should never want to paint your car with a case of Duplicolor. It's just not going to come out well. The only reason that came out was because, well, it's on camera. But the closer you get, the uglier it gets. But it's spray paint. To do it right, you're going to need a booth. But that being said, the trunk does look better. We're going to let it dry and probably put a light coat of clear over it just to protect it until we can really do it up right. But for the most part, I'm pleased. But in reality, the next time it rains, with the other stuff, I'm just still going to have paint flaking off everywhere just because that's what these cars did. But like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, get some help. A good paint job is worth paying for, or it's worth getting the right people around you to help you, because that's that's on the outside. People are going to see that. So anyhow, I hope you liked this video. There really wasn't much to it. It's not really a guide as more of a what not to do, but I appreciate it. I hope you liked it, and we'll catch you later.